Imagine a world where the very laws of physics aren't just discovered, aren't just observed, but are decoded. Where the very fabric of reality itself possesses a language, an underlying syntax, and someone, against all conventional wisdom, against all the odds, is finally learning to read it.
Wow, yeah.
That's the electrifying premise that kicks off William L. Weaver's ambitious new saga, The Logos War.
It's an absolutely captivating setup, isn't it? As devoted fans of those grand, sprawling narratives that explore everything from, like, the intricate nature of magic to the very forging of new worlds.
Right, the really epic stuff.
Yeah, the kind of stories you get lost in, like
Yeah.
the meticulous magic systems of Dragonlance, or the deep, rich lore of the Forgotten Realms, or even the profound philosophical underpinnings you find in C.S. Lewis's allegories. We immediately felt that undeniable pull.
Oh, definitely.
Weaver truly seems to be tapping into that incredibly rich vein of storytelling, but with this thoroughly modern, almost shockingly scientific twist. It's like discovering a forgotten tome that explains how to speak to the universe itself. It's really something.
Absolutely. And that's precisely why today we're doing something a little different, something we genuinely believe our fellow fans of epic science fantasy, those of you who've delighted in the grand narratives of C.S. Lewis, who've been captivated by the intricate magic of Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman's Dragonlance.
For its classics.
Or who've walked alongside the legendary heroes of Forgotten Realms with R.A. Salvatore, or shared countless adventures with David Eddings, or delved into the enchanting world of Terry Brooks, or, of course, lost yourselves in the foundational epics of J.R.R. Tolkien. You guys will truly, deeply appreciate this.
Hope so.
We're embarking on a focused, immersive deep dive into Book 1, The Great Unraveling, specifically zeroing in on its pivotal second chapter, the Annex.
Okay, so our mission today is to approach the Annex not merely as a standalone piece of science fiction, but to analyze it through the beloved, familiar lens of classic fantasy.
Exactly.
We'll be intently looking for the echoes of ancient quests that resonate through his pages, the painstaking forging of powerful, almost mystical artifacts, and perhaps most compellingly, the lonely, often arduous path of a hero who is just beginning to discover a world far, far grander and infinitely more perilous than he ever dared to imagine. This isn't just about the scientific breakthroughs or theoretical physics. It's fundamentally about the wonder, the profound struggle, and that incredible dawning of an epic tale that promises to reshape reality.
Yeah.
You feel that weight,
You really do, exactly. So what exactly can you expect from this deep dive into the Annex? We're going to meticulously unpack the extraordinary journey of Jaron Miles within this chapter, delving into the sanctuary he painstakingly builds for himself, the immediate pressing challenges he must overcome, and that truly profound, almost spiritual shift in the very nature of his quest.
That shift is huge.
All of it culminates in a moment that feels less like a conventional scientific breakthrough and far more like a powerful, ancient, magical incantation. Get ready to explore and discuss the true, surprising meaning of noise and signal in a universe that, this chapter suggests, just might be speaking directly to us if only we knew how to listen.
Okay, sounds like a plan. Where do we start? With the setup from Chapter 1, I guess.
Yeah, I think we have to. So, to truly appreciate the genius of the Annex, let's first unpack the foundational setup from Chapter 1. It gives us the crucial context, the very crucible from which Jaron Miles emerges. We're introduced to Jaron Miles, a brilliant, almost painfully intelligent PhD candidate.
Right.
But what immediately sets him apart, what truly defines him, is his profound status as an outsider. He's ostracized, largely dismissed, often ridiculed, for a core belief that most of his peers and professors view as, well, sheer lunacy. He believes that everyone is reading the book upside down. He holds an unwavering conviction that reality isn't a chaotic jumble of random particles. He believes with every fiber of his being that it's built upon a deep underlying language. This isn't just a metaphor for Jaron. It's a literal, tangible truth that he's dedicated his life to uncovering.
And what's immediately captivating here, and what really grounds this in the epic science fantasy tradition we love, is how this singular concept, this profound belief, instantly establishes the magic system of the Logos War saga.
Right. It's not spells in the usual sense.
No, exactly. It's not about waving wands or reciting arcane incantations or even channeling elemental forces the way we traditionally understand magic. Instead, it's rooted in a universal grammar, a fundamental unseen structure that governs existence itself.
Like the code of reality.
Precisely. Think of the lone mage, poring over forbidden, dusty texts in a neglected corner of a grand library, driven by an insatiable hunger for knowledge that others deem too dangerous or too absurd.
Totally see that.
You can almost see Jaren as a modern-day Raceland Majer, maybe meticulously deciphering dark, powerful magic in the forbidden depths of the Tower of High Sorcery, or perhaps an exiled prince like Aragorn burdened with a revolutionary idea or a forgotten lineage that no one else believes, yet it holds the absolute key to the kingdom's salvation.
Good comparisons.
Jaren's unshakable conviction, despite the isolation it brings, undeniably places him in that venerable pantheon of lone visionaries, those destined to see what others cannot.
And his primary antagonist, at least in these opening stages of the saga, isn't some, dark lord or an invading alien force.
Not yet, anyway.
Right, not yet. It's Dr. Alistair Finch. Finch isn't a direct villain in the traditional sense, but he embodies the very stasis of the academic world. His office, as the narrative pointedly tells us, is a shrine to stasis, a place where the gods had long since departed, where intellectual curiosity has seemingly withered.
That description is brutal.
It really is. The text even goes so far as to say it smelled of things that had stopped changing. It's such a perfect, almost poetic, literary representation of the entrenched order, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Finch represents the skeptical High Council or the traditional Magus Guild, vehemently resistant to any new, potentially dangerous magic that threatens their established understanding of reality. But I wonder, is there any argument to be made for Finch's perspective? Is his stasis a necessary guardrail against rampant, unchecked speculation? Or is he simply a villain of an action, a symbol of intellectual decay?
That's a fantastic point, actually, and it adds a layer of nuance, doesn't it? Because it could easily be just a straightforward good versus evil dynamic.
Right.
While Finch certainly comes across as the antagonist, especially with cutting lines like, it's not science, it's numerology, which is just ouch.
Yeah, that's harsh.
You could argue he embodies the necessary, almost fundamental skepticism that grounds scientific progress. Science should demand proof, and Jaren's theories are, at this point, purely theoretical.
Far enough.
However, the narrative clearly positions him as the obstacle, the embodiment of a closed mind against Jaren's visionary path. It highlights the immense intellectual and emotional stakes for our protagonist.
Absolutely.
Finch's dismissal is a profound insult, an academic excommunication, basically invalidating Jaren's life's work as a form of magical thinking. It's the equivalent of telling a fledgling wizard their spells are just parlor tricks, or a seasoned artificer that their intricate creations are nothing but worthless scrap. It's designed to wound, to break him. And it really sets the stage for Jaren's defiant response.
And what Jaren is pushing for, what he truly believes in, is absolutely groundbreaking. He's developed what he calls informational field theory. Now, for those less steeped in theoretical physics, think of it as a conceptual framework, a grand unifying idea that suggests information itself isn't just something we process or observe, but rather a fundamental component of reality. Perhaps even the fundamental component.
Which is a mind-bending idea on its own.
Totally. And this theory predicts a 14-dimensional manifold, which, put simply, is essentially a much more complex, hidden structure to our universe than our familiar 4 dimensions, space-time would suggest.
Right, more layers.
He believes the universe, as we perceive it, is merely a projection of a higher dimensional reality, and what everyone else dismisses as mere noise, like the seemingly random static of cosmic background radiation, is actually the shadow of its true language.
Man.
For a fantasy reader, this isn't just a scientific hypothesis. It's his unique form of forbidden knowledge, an unheard prophecy, or maybe a secret ancient script that only he, Jaren Miles, possesses the intellect and the intuition to decipher. It's truly a profound, almost terrifying shift in perspective.
It's precisely the kind of concept that grabs your attention instantly, much like when you first encounter, say, the true names of power in Earthsea, or the incredibly intricate cosmological models that govern a magical universe, like in Sanderson's Cosmere.
Good examples, yeah.
It elevates the universe itself into a living, breathing text. But the real tragedy, and what becomes the driving force of Jaren's journey, is that even his contemporaries, like his fellow grad student Ben Carter, simply cannot grasp the sheer scope of his vision.
Poor Ben.
Yeah, well, Ben's interaction with Jaren is particularly telling. He wears that polite, patient expression of someone waiting for a madman to finish his sermon.
Yeah, that says it all.
It perfectly captures Jaren's profound isolation, the chasm of understanding between him and virtually everyone else. The narrative explicitly tells us They were all content to color inside the lines, to confirm what was already known. This is just a throwaway line. It powerfully reinforces that classic lone hero trope, the visionary understood by no one, destined to walk a unique, solitary path, because the conventional world simply isn't ready for his truth.
And this very isolation, this repeated dismissal and intellectual loneliness, far from breaking Jaren. I mean, it could have, right? But instead, it only serves to forge within him a truly diamond-hard resolve. He doesn't wallow in self-pity or abandon his life's work. Instead, he arrives at this powerful, defiant conclusion. If no one else would listen, he would just have to get a result so loud they couldn't ignore it.
Love that line.
Me too. This fierce refusal to be deterred, this unwavering determination, leads him to retreat to his personal sanctuary, a place where the mundane rules of the outside world and its suffocating skepticism simply don't apply. It's here, in what he calls the Annex, that the true transformation begins, setting the stage for his heroic journey to truly commence.
And immediately as we enter Chapter 2, the Annex, you feel that profound transformation of space. The sterile, stifling silence of the university is instantly gone, replaced by the vibrant, almost living hum of the Annex.
It's such a contrast.
Huge contrast. This isn't just another lab, a sterile box for experimentation. It's explicitly described as a place of controlled chaos, of emergence, where nothing here was static. Everything was in a state of becoming. It's a space that feels alive, almost vibrating with potential, a crucible of creation rather than a mere workspace.
It's more than just a place to work. It truly feels like a character in its own right, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely.
Like the hidden workshop of a master artificer humming with unseen energies, or the secret sanctum of a powerful, perhaps eccentric wizard. You can almost feel the raw energy, the sheer potential radiating from every surface.
Yeah, it's palpable.
It's a space where the mundane rules and constraints of the outside world simply don't apply. A true haven where profound creation is not only possible, but inevitable. The description of the whiteboard, so layered with equations it had become a gray smear of forgotten ideas, alongside the half-assembled apparatus of glass tubes and copper wiring, and the hum of a 3D printer. It really emphasizes this incredible fusion.
Fusion of what? Like old and new?
Yeah, ancient, almost arcane knowledge with futuristic tools. It's reminiscent of the very best science fantasy world building, conjuring images of a dwarven forge hidden beneath a gleaming high-tech city, or an elven smithy crafting magical items with nanotech.
Exactly. And the sensory details provided are absolutely crucial. They ground this fantastical setting in a tangible, almost visceral reality. We're invited to experience the familiar cocktail of ozone from an overworked power supply, the bitter tang of stale coffee, and the clean, cold scent of liquid nitrogen.
You can almost smell it.
Right. These aren't just incidental background noises or smells. They deeply immerse you in Jaren's world, making the fantastical accessible and profoundly real. It's much like how the rich scent of brewing potions in a wizard's laboratory or the rhythmic clanking of intricate gears in a gnomish workshop can immediately transport you into a fantasy setting. These details make the Annex feel like a place of profound work and relentless dedication.
And within this fascinating space, we meet Echo. This isn't just some generic supercomputer. It immediately emerges as Jaren's singular, incredibly powerful ally. Echo has been performing this persistent, months-long search that had yielded the first hints of the pattern Jaren seeks.
Good and heavy listing.
Totally, tirelessly sifting through unimaginable quantities of cosmic data. And crucially, it's not just a silent, subservient tool. It interacts. It has a distinct voice.
And what's truly fascinating here is Echo's distinct personality and its dynamic interaction with Jaren. It communicates exclusively via text, right? But it offers warnings and status updates, like a cautious, wise familiar or maybe a magical guardian, constantly monitoring its own limits and Jaren's ambitious actions.
Like a familiar, yeah.
We see it alert him. Thermal load on Core Cluster 7 is exceeding optimal parameters. This simple text line gives it a distinct voice, a character all its own, much like a venerable ancient golem providing counsel to its master. Or maybe a powerful, if literal, genie whose immense powers come with very strict, often frustrating limitations.
That's a good analogy, the genie.
It establishes a profound, almost symbiotic partnership between man and machine that feels deeply organic, a crucial bond in a grand quest where Jaren largely stands alone.
And right away, Echo presents Jaren with an immediate, tangible core challenge. That thermal load warning, efficiency will degrade by 12% within the hour. This isn't just a minor technical glitch that can be ignored. It's an immediate, time-sensitive obstacle, a direct threat to the core mission.
The clock is ticking.
Absolutely. It's a classic quest component that needs to be overcome and quickly before the main endeavor can even proceed. It creates an immediate sense of urgency, forcing Jaren to act decisively, setting the stage for the next critical phase of his journey. It's much like a hero needing to find a specific key to unlock a dungeon or overcome a formidable guardian before they can reach a coveted treasure. The stakes are clear, and Jaren must rise to the occasion.
Which logically leads him into what feels very much like a classic fantasy scavenger hunt, doesn't it?
Well,
All aimed at forging what will become an artifact of truth, essentially.
yeah, I like that framing.
Jaren immediately understands what's needed. A better heat sink with a higher thermal conductivity and a more complex surface area made of a very specific, rare material, rare earth-doped ceramic. What might appear to be a mundane technical problem in another, more conventional story is immediately transformed into his immediate essential mini-quest here. The clock is ticking, and the fate of his entire endeavor rests on finding this elusive component.
This is truly where the story particularly shines for us as fantasy readers, because Jaren's subsequent journey to the university's e-waste depot, it's presented not as a tedious chore, but as a full-blown treasure hunt.
Totally.
The line, "To most it was junk, to Jaren it was a treasure trove of raw materials," instantly sets that tone of discovery and resourcefulness. This is absolutely akin to a hero venturing deep into a bustling, perhaps dangerous goblin market, or navigating the labyrinthine ruins of an ancient, forgotten city.
Or even delving into a long-sealed tomb. Yeah. All to scavenge for rare, powerful components essential for crafting a potent magical item. That decommissioned signal amplifier from a defunct radio astronomy project isn't just old tech to Jaren. It becomes the raw ore, the gleaming dragon scale, the incredibly rare herb needed for a potent spell.
Exactly. He's looking for the hidden value, the secret potential, in what others have simply discarded as trash. It's brilliant.
And Jaren himself, in this sequence, is portrayed with such reverence as a master craftsman at work. His hands, which we're told could dance across a keyboard or sketch out elegant tensor equations with effortless grace, are simultaneously described as just as comfortable with a socket wrench and a pair of wire cutters.
That detail is so good.
It's so powerful because it highlights his rare, invaluable dual mastery. He is both profoundly intellectual and supremely practical, deeply theoretical, and remarkably artisanal. It's the hallmark of a true hero in a fantasy narrative, someone who is not only wise and possesses deep abstract knowledge, but is also immensely skilled with their hands.
Right, they can actually make things.
Exactly. Capable of both abstract thought and tangible, physical creation. He's essentially a wizard who can also wield a hammer with expert precision, or an elven scholar equally adept with deciphering ancient lore and the intricate forging of fine, magically imbued blades.
And what he ultimately extracts from this discarded amplifier is truly the heart of the machine, but it's also, in a metaphorical sense, the very heart of his own quest. A small, unassuming ceramic plate. Yttrium barium copper oxide, the very heart of his superconductor research.
And it's not just any random part.
No, this isn't just any random component he finds. It's a key foundational ingredient directly tied back to the very work that Dr. Finch had ironically applauded him for previously.
But completely missed the point of.
Exactly. Finch so fundamentally misunderstood its broader implications. There's a brilliant, delicious layer of irony and personal satisfaction for Jaren in this pivotal moment, knowing he's using the very tools of his rejection to build his triumph.
Oh, that grim satisfaction he feels. Realizing that Finch and the entire academic board were initially impressed with his material science work but had no idea it was being funded by their own garbage is truly a delightful and profound character moment.
It really is.
It powerfully highlights the sheer ingenuity and the wonderfully subversive nature of his quest. He's effectively using the established system's own refuse, its discarded waste, to gather the very resources he needs to undermine its deeply entrenched foundations.
It's like Robin Hood, but with circuit boards.
Huh. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
It's akin to a clever trickster god, using the neglected, forgotten tools of the old order to usher in a revolutionary new age, or a rogue knight salvaging discarded armor pieces to forge a legendary new weapon. With this rare, crucial raw material now acquired, Jaren doesn't waste a moment. He immediately returns to his forge, his annex, ready to transform it into the critical component he needs.
Which sets the stage for a critical, almost poignant interaction that truly reinforces Jaren's character and the central themes of the book. Ben Carter's unexpected return, bringing coffee, It serves as this crucial moment.
Right, the well-meaning friend who just doesn't get it.
Exactly. It reinforces Jaren's profound isolation and the central theme of his misunderstood genius. Ben is the same grad student from the hallway, the amiable, conventional mind representing the prevailing mindset, the average villager who simply cannot comprehend the hero's epic mission or the grander realities hidden just beneath the surface.
He's the Watson? Maybe. But without the eventual understanding.
Maybe, yeah. He's the person who lives comfortably within the known, accepted world, utterly oblivious to the profound, transformative truth Jaren is seeking.
And what's particularly poignant here is Jaren's desperate final attempt at explanation. He tries one last time to articulate his complex informational field theory, hoping for even a flicker of understanding, a single spark of recognition from Ben.
Just a sign someone sees it.
Right. But Ben's question, so simple yet so revealing, what are you even looking for? A message from God. This immediately exposes his fundamental misunderstanding of Jaren's profound quest. Ben is looking for a simple, conventional, perhaps even divine intervention, a straightforward answer to an existential question, not the underlying intricate rules of reality itself.
He's missing the scale entirely.
Totally. He's seeking a single word, not the very grammar from which all words are formed.
And Jaren's response to Ben is utterly profound, truly encapsulating the core revolutionary idea of this entire saga. He patiently, yet with deep conviction, clarifies, not a message, a grammar, a set of rules.
Damn. There it is.
He then unfurls this powerful, accessible analogy that is meant to bridge that vast gap in understanding. Think of it this way. We know the alphabet quarks, leptons, bosons. We know some of the words protons, atoms, molecules. But we've been trying to understand the story by just staring at the letters. I think there's a syntax, a set of grammatical rules that governs how the letters can be combined. Echo found a recurring sentence structure in the cosmic background radiation. I'm just trying to figure out what it says.
That is such a brilliant explanation.
It really is. It simultaneously simplifies and elevates his work, putting it into a context that even Ben could theoretically grasp.
And this right here is the core magic system explanation for the Logos War, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
It's not about divine intervention, nor is it about arbitrary skullcasting that relies on mystical energy. Instead, it's about understanding the fundamental underlying laws and the intrinsic language of existence itself. Much like a true wizard understands the true names of things in certain profound fantasy traditions, like we mentioned with Le Guin.
Right, like in Earthsea.
Or comprehends the fundamental runic structures that govern all of reality. For instance, in Patrick Rothfuss is the name of the wind. Kvolf learns the name of the wind, which allows him to manipulate it, not through brute force, but through deep understanding.
That's a great parallel.
This approach is far, far more profound than simply looking for a message. It implies a universe that is not only intricately structured, but is intelligent in its very fabric. A universe that can be read if you only learn its grammar. But think about the implications there. If the universe operates on a discoverable grammar, does that make it inherently deterministic?
Interesting question.
Does it leave any room for true randomness or for free will? It transforms physics from a mere description of what is to a revelation of what commands existence, which is a truly mind-bending takeaway from this chapter alone.
Absolutely. And despite Jaren's eloquent, almost desperate attempt at explanation, the lingering disconnect between him and Ben is palpable, almost heartbreaking. Ben's reaction, a simple, a grammar for the universe, that's a hell of a metaphor, shows just how vast, how unbridgeable the gap in understanding truly is.
He just doesn't get it.
No. Ben dismisses it as a clever metaphor, something poetic and abstract, while Jaren sees it as a literal, scientific, foundational truth. It's Ben's dismissive gesture of the light clap on the shoulder and his cheerful obliviousness that truly hits home for Jaren, reinforcing his deeply ingrained belief that it wasn't just the old guard like Finch, it was everyone. No one truly sees what he sees.
And that bitterness of the coffee Jaren sips, we're told, perfectly reflects his feeling of profound isolation and the crushing weight of being so fundamentally misunderstood. But almost immediately, that bitterness doesn't break him. It transforms into a single point of diamond-hard resolve.
There's that phrase again.
Right. This repeated phrase, diamond-hard resolve, isn't just a literary flourish. It emphasizes Jaren's unwavering, almost unbreakable commitment to his truth. It's the quintessential hero's moment of steeling oneself, of accepting the solitary nature of their quest, knowing that if others won't or can't understand, he will simply show them.
No more trying to convince them.
Exactly. He's no longer seeking their validation. He's now singularly focused on achieving undeniable proof, and he's prepared to achieve it entirely alone.
So, fueled by this renewed, almost defiant resolve, Jaren enters what we can only call the crucible of creation, the intense, high-stakes forging and igniting of the core component he needs. The subsequent hours in the Annex become a blur of focused, furious creation.
Getting in the zone.
Totally. The narrative beautifully describes how Jaren slipped into a state of pure flow, the outside world and its disappointments fading away until there was only the work. This is the quintessential state of the artist, the scientist, the wizard at their absolute peak, completely immersed in their craft, where time ceases to have meaning, and only the act of creation exists. It's almost meditative.
It really feels that way, a profound communion with the raw materials and the fundamental forces he is so skillfully manipulating.
The sensory details here are absolutely crucial in conveying the intensity of this creative process. We hear the high-pitched whine of the microlathe and see tiny sparks flying, creating a vivid, almost cinematic image of creation in furious progress. The text explicitly states he works with the precision of a surgeon and the passion of an artist, which elevates the seemingly technical act of engineering into something truly wondrous, an act of pure, distilled magic. It's like a master smith forging a legendary sword in the roaring heart of a mountain, each hammer blow imbued with purpose and skill.
Nice image.
Every action is precise, deliberate, and imbued with the profound significance of his quest.
And then the artifact's emergence. The finished heatsink isn't just a piece of electronics. It's described as a small, beautiful object, a complex lattice of fins and channels that looked more like a piece of alien jewelry than a computer component.
Alien jewelry. Right. This description is vital because it immediately elevates a seemingly mundane technical component into an artifact of genuine wonder, seamlessly blending the hard sci-fi with a deeply fantastical aesthetic. It's no longer just a heatsink, it's a component forged with the same meticulous care and artistry as a powerful wizard's phylactery or a king's ceremonial crown.
Or a dwarven battle axe crafted for a legendary hero. Yeah, I see it. It's a tool, yes, but it's also a work of art, a symbol of Jaren's singular genius.
Exactly.
The installation itself then becomes this high-stakes moment, a delicate, perilous surgery within the humming heart of the Annex. As Jaren prepares for the hot swap protocol, Echo, his loyal yet cautious familiar, immediately issues a stark warning. Warning, initiating hot swap protocol on an overloaded system is not recommended.
Dun 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 dun.
Right. It instantly ratchets up the tension, portraying Echo not just as a tool, but as a wise, almost sentient guardian, warning its master of imminent peril, urging caution.
But Jaren's having none of it.
No. His defiance is immediate and absolute. "I'm not asking for your recommendation, Echo," he murmurs, his voice a quiet steel. This highlights his single-minded determination, his unwavering willingness to push boundaries, to ignore dire prophecies or warnings from ancient spirits, all in pursuit of his vital quest. He knows the risk, and he accepts it.
The actual physical process of replacing the heatsink is explicitly likened to surgery, emphasizing the immense precision and inherent risk involved. Every movement is calculated, every connection crucial, and when it's finally installed, that satisfying, perfect click, it's Jaren's small, personal triumph.
You feel the relief.
I really do. A moment of immediate, tangible validation. It's the sound of success, of problem solved. The screen immediately lights up, displaying Core Cluster 7 temperature stable at 38.5 degrees Centigrade, efficiency increased by 18.2%, offering immediate, irrefutable proof of his success.
He did it.
He did it. It's a mini victory, a crucial prelude to the far larger, epoch-making one he's striding for. The system is stable, and the path forward is clear.
And all of this painstaking effort, all of these challenges overcome, culminates in what the narrative explicitly calls the point of no return. The frustration from Finch, the dismissal from Ben, it had all coalesced into this single moment. This was the point of no return.
Just such a powerful sentence.
It really is. This line perfectly encapsulates the culmination of Jaren's entire internal and external journey within this chapter. He's truly putting everything on the line, every ounce of his intellect, his conviction, and his limited resources. It feels exactly like a hero standing at the precipice of a grand, decisive battle, knowing there is no turning back, only forward into the unknown.
And his quiet, almost reverent, yet utterly firm command to Echo resonates with absolute conviction. Run the final analysis, the deep dive. Cross-reference every data point we have. Push the pattern recognition to its absolute limit. I don't care about the power draw. I want proof.
This is it, the big moment.
This isn't just a technical instruction. It is the decisive moment, the casting of the ultimate spell, the initiation of the grand experiment that will either vindicate him entirely or utterly destroy his life's work. The entire weight of his isolation, his genius, and his defiance rests on this single command.
And the sensory details here truly escalate the tension, bringing you, the reader, right to the very edge of your seat. The rising hum of the supercomputer, a sound growing into a powerful roar, the lights of the annex dimming as power is diverted, the urgent roar of liquid nitrogen being pumped.
You can feel the power building.
Yeah, a visceral sound of immense power being unleashed. These details signal the epic, almost cataclysmic scale of what's about to happen. And Jaren's internal state is equally significant, almost spiritual in its intensity. For the first time in a long time, he felt a flicker of something he had thought long dead. It wasn't hope. It was certainty.
Certainty, not hope.
That's huge. This is the hero's ultimate conviction, the profound, unshakable moment of knowing that his path is true, that his vision is real, even if he must walk it alone into the vast unknown. It's like a paladin's faith becoming absolute, a true master discovering the final piece of an ancient puzzle.
Wow. Okay, so after all that intense creation, the painstaking installation, and the decisive initiation of the final universe decoding analysis, we find Jaren in this period of vigil, suspended on the edge of a monumental revelation.
The waiting game.
Yeah, and the physical toll of his relentless pursuit of truth is painfully clear. Profound, bone-deep exhaustion. The time on the clock reads nearly 3 a.m., and he's been so consumed by his work that he hadn't eaten since lunch.
Been there, metaphorically speaking, mostly.
Yeah, right. This sad, familiar diet of a grad student on the brink provides a deeply human, relatable counterpoint to the cosmic significance of his work. It reminds us that even heroes, even lone visionaries pushing the boundaries of reality, are still profoundly human and need to eat, to rest, to endure.
Grounding him again. And Echo's pragmatic display, the glowing text, estimated time to completion, 7 hours, 14 minutes, highlights the long, arduous vigil that lies ahead, a period of agonizing waiting.
7 hours?
Yeah. Jaren is powerfully described as a man on a tiny self-made island in the middle of a vast computational ocean. He was waiting for a new world to be born for the digital serf.
That imagery is just stunning.
It really is.
It beautifully evokes the classic trope of the isolated scholar on the very precipice of monumental discovery, reminiscent of Gandalf waiting for the dawn after a long, dark night, or maybe the hobbits waiting for rescue on the slopes of Mount Doom.
Oh, good one.
Except Jaren's new world isn't forming in stone or a new land, but in the abstract realm of data, emerging from the digital depths.
And his sanctuary, despite its high-tech, universe-decoding purpose, is remarkably humble, almost ascetic. His bed for the night is merely the lumpy, stained cot he'd salvaged from a dorm renovation. A stark testament to his dedication.
Not exactly glamorous. Not at all. This emphasizes the humble, almost monastic life he leads, forsaking comfort and conventional living in his relentless pursuit of a higher truth. It's a classic hero's sacrifice, where personal comfort is secondary to the grander quest.
And in a truly beautiful, almost spiritual moment, as he finally lies down, he stares up at the dark, pipe-strung ceiling, the blinking lights of the server racks reflecting in his eyes like distant captive star.
Love that line, captive star.
Me too. This image is incredibly evocative, a profound connection between his small, dark lab and the vast, incomprehensible cosmos he is so desperately trying to comprehend and decode. It subtly hints at the deeper cosmic struggle, the universe-spanning war that we know from the Saga summary is about to violently unfold.
Connects the micro and the macro.
Exactly. It's the archetypal wizard in his humble tower, gazing at the heavens, not just to admire them, but to understand their hidden truths, to pull back the veil and peer into the very heart of existence.
And as exhaustion finally begins to claim him, his mind circles back, recalling Dr. Finch's warnings, Ben's dismissals, and the chorus of skepticism that has plagued him. He mentally poses the lingering question, a dramatic cliffhanger that resonates deeply and promises to propel the entire saga forward.
The big question.
They saw him as a man chasing ghosts, but what if he was the one who's finally about to see? This isn't just a rhetorical question for the reader. It's a profound, self-affirming question for Jaren himself, solidifying his conviction right before the unknown.
Right before the data comes in.
Yeah.
And the very last thing he hears before exhaustion finally claims him is the steady, rhythmic hum of Echo's processors, the tireless engine of his own conviction.
Ah, nice closing image.
That sensory detail powerfully reinforces the idea that his unshakable conviction, his internal drive, is the true relentless engine of his quest, a force as powerful and as tireless as the supercomputer itself. This quiet, almost spiritual ending for the chapter leaves us, the listener, with an incredibly powerful sense of anticipation.
Definitely leaves you hanging.
Totally. It's the calm before the storm, the deep breath before the momentous plunge into a universe on the verge of being fundamentally rewritten. It truly leaves you wanting to immediately pick up the next chapter, like right now.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the Annex, it's abundantly clear that this pivotal chapter masterfully sets the stage for Jaren's truly epic journey. It cements his character as a lone, brilliant visionary, a wizard of the future, driven by a profound, almost innate understanding that the universe speaks a language we have yet to comprehend.
We've really seen him forged here.
Yeah. We've been shown his incredible ingenuity, his quiet defiance of conventional wisdom, and his unwavering, diamond-hard resolve in the face of overwhelming skepticism.
This single chapter is, without a doubt, a perfect microcosm of the grand, sprawling scope promised by the Logos War saga. It shows us the forging of the hero himself, the meticulous crafting of his primary tool, Echo, and the heatsink.
The artifact.
The artifact, right. And that initial, almost imperceptible spark of what we know will become a larger cosmic conflict. The informational field theory isn't merely a piece of theoretical science. It's revealed as the absolute key to understanding a secret, universe-spanning war that has raged for eons.
Which sounds amazing.
It really does. A classic, epic fantasy conflict in the making, but one fought not with swords and spells, but with data and universal grammar. It's such a cool blend.
It is, and it leaves us, the listener, with such a profound, lingering question that echoes throughout all the greatest epic fantasy narratives. What truly happens when the hero finally pulls back the veil and sees the true, unfiltered nature of reality?
What happens when you read the book right side up?
Exactly. When they discover that what they, and indeed all of humanity, once perceived as mere noise, was actually the shadow of its true language. And what kind of word will emerge, what kind of revelation, that will have the power to fundamentally reshape a universe where reality itself can literally be rewritten.
The stakes couldn't be higher.
Right. What new forces will his revelation awaken? What ancient powers will stir? And what profound costs will he have to pay for such unparalleled knowledge? This is just the exhilarating beginning, and we absolutely cannot wait to see what Jaren Miles decodes next.
Me neither. That was a fantastic chapter to dive into. Really rich stuff.